Alright, this is going to be a quick TLDR of how the mission works. Orange lines represent the bigger roads. There's a smaller road that caves out on the right up here. All of these black areas represent buildings. The ammo depot is in this building. Then we've got two Maxims. We're all going to be spawning on the road right here. Respawn point is going to be that exact corner. We're all going to be facing this direction. And I will do a quick rundown with this video to show you where everything is. So there's a spare medical box there, as well as on the other side of this building there. And then deeper in here, there are two medical boxes there, two over here, and then you've got two ammo boxes for spare munitions on either side. Now, ammo was a factor in the siege, so you're going to have to be very sparing with this ammo throughout the operation. Otherwise, you'll have to resort to looting enemy weapons or just rationing the best of your ability. Now, we have two Maxims in play. I'm going to say this right now, though. It doesn't have that much ammo, but still a good chunk. 9 250-round boxes. It does seem like a lot, but it'll go by after the first few assaults. We have them marked where the triangles are facing, so one facing that way and one facing that way. As I move to the other one, I just want to state that this is more based off of the movie than the actual battle itself, because I didn't realize there was much of a difference. So please don't yell at me for those issues. It's already going to take me much longer to fix that, because even this map layout is supposed to be completely different. But otherwise, other one is right here. And let's go ahead and go over a few other things. So everyone's going to get an E-tool. You can either dig small or bigger foxholes here, but it's none of the grad trench stuff. And if it takes mortar fire or explosive fire, the trenches will fall deeper into the ground. But after you dig the trench, you should also be able to put camo on it. But another thing I added were foxholes. So how this script works is you set the dig, and then you can basically dig down 2 meters into the ground wherever the shovel goes. You hit E to confirm, and then it'll spend about 10 seconds actually deforming the ground. And then from here, this gives you a little bit of something to run back to, especially if mortars are landing, so you can just go in here and hide. It is about head level. If you fully stand, this is what it looks like. If you crouch, it's like that, but if you go prone, you can mostly hide in here. But you can also connect the foxholes if need be to make your own little trenches as well. Again, you just got to follow where the shovel is. Now, the axes are oriented north, south, east, and west, but we are at a bit of an angle here because I was trying to find the perfect backdrop angle for this area. So it's going to be a little awkward to dig these foxholes around, and for that I apologize. That's just limitations with the mods themselves. But you'll be able to layer your trenches accordingly if you want to use this to build your trenches, and then you can also build them on top. Just note that if you build too close to the buildings or the roads, the script will eventually just not let you outright. But I would recommend you could do a combination of something like this, where you dig your trench, and then you dig the foxhole, and then you can bring things around. Just notice how long it takes to actually set these fortifications up, and remember, you can always use the ace button to interact with the trench to help people dig, so it speeds it up. Now, for the actual mission breakdown, starting, you'll all start on the road, so I highly recommend the ground commander gets with all of the squad leaders and assigns what squad will be watching what direction for your defense. Naturally, you'll be given a little bit of time to actually prep your fortifications as the Irish platoon. Well, they were more like a half company strength, but I digress. Got time to basically, set up fortifications before the fighting actually began, so he can just assign anywhere around. I recommend you stay close to the blue area, because remember, your medics are limited, and you guys do have invisible chest rigs with plates to give you guys a little bit of body armor so you don't get one-tapped. However, you don't have any head protection, so if one of you gets unluckily headshot, you probably will need to find the medics. Medics, I recommend you set up in the building. There is some second-story coverage on some of these buildings as well, so you can always put a squad on garrison on those areas as well. I also tried to fortify that for a nice little sniper outlook, but I did my best to fortify buildings as well. I also tried experimenting with movable sandbags, but well, people kept arming themselves on them, so it wasn't really viable. But nonetheless, buildings, I tried to pick ones that you could fully enter. Almost all of them are that way, except for some, but I fortified the front of them to at least make that work. So there's plenty of room to spread out for the, 6 squads we're going to have. That's the other non enterable building, but you can dig around it. Now, looking at Op 4 just to show off what you'll be fighting, I'm obviously going to move the debug corner because the mortar team, which I'll get to in a second, will mortar it, but we have a mix of Cantonese forces and mercenary forces of various armaments based off of what I saw in the movie as well as what was available. They'll also have access to artillery support, and thanks to Sab, we do have the, I forget the designation of the plane, but this was the plane that was used. I think it only used its guns, but I'm gonna give it some other fun things because this is still an Arma op and I still want to. I mean, you all should still have fun, and we have the mortar in position now. In terms of the mortars, feel free to send forces out to try to find the mortars and either take them out or just counter battery in the direction. I will be very active in moving the mortars away if you are successful in firing back at them. I might also put them in the distance where it's somewhere visible for the mortars to engage. But regardless, mortar team just is on you. On you specifically. Here's your mortar. You only get one. You've got Willie Pete. You have HE at 2 different charge levels. No artillery computer, so you're going to have to rely on your mortar range table for every round, and then your spotter to tell you how the rounds go. But again, you have limited ammo. It looks like it's 6x5, so it's going to be, I think, 2 boxes of HE Charge 0, 2 boxes of HE Charge 1, and 2 boxes of Willie Pete. So that's 12 times 6, which is 12, 24, 36, 72 mortar rounds, which is, that should be more than enough. Keep this for emergencies or for counter battering if it's needed, but yeah, this should always stay with you. But regardless, that is the team there, and then medics, you've got your thing. But otherwise, that is everyone set up. We have the runner slots for squads to run back. I recommend Command also sets up where their quote-unquote HQ is going to be, so runners know where to run for orders. And if Command needs to order a squad out, they can send one of their runners to go and do that. But otherwise, that is the main breakdown of the mission. Only other thing I'll say for the mission is going over the medical settings, because I like to keep things fair in regards to all of that. But otherwise, to do that, we just have to go into here. I don't do splints in my missions because it's just extra stuff. Wake up chance is high. Epi boost is also high, so you'll be waking up. Critical damage threshold for you guys is at 4. Basically, you'll be able to take, 2 shots or so on the chest, multiple on the legs, but if you're tapped in the head, you will need to be brought over to where the medics are set up. Pain on con I've brought down a bit because I can find that a bit annoying. You'll never insta-die because this is technically a 2-life op, but the AI will always insta-die. Actually, no, I'm taking that back. I do have AI on con on, so watch for that. Bleed out is set to half because I think vanilla bleed out is a bit too high, but the pain coefficient is staying on. IV transfusion rate I set really high because I want you to get back into the fight quickly, and usually the reason people aren't waking up is because they don't have blood in them. So, as a reminder, because nothing else in here matters, because I don't do reopening wounds, and only the medics can pack and give blood. So keep those medics alive, otherwise bad things are going to happen. CPR is 40 to 90%, so you'll probably have to keep doing CPR to restore someone's heart rate. But just as a reminder, guys, if someone is lightly wounded, get them bandaged, check their heart rate, make sure they have a pulse, make sure they're at least at some blood, not a lot of blood. If they're lost a lot of blood, give them 500 milliliters. If they've lost a great amount of blood or a fatal amount, give them 1,000 till they get to some blood. Then you make sure they have a heart rate, and then epi them. Keep doing CPR with one person constantly on that, so even if they're not getting their heart rate back, but with these chances, it should take at least 2 to 3 chances of CPR for them to almost always get their heart rate back. But once they're at some blood and they have a strong heart rate, epi them, they'll be waking up within 20 seconds. If someone's critically wounded, like let's say red, multiple wounds on everything, get 2 or 3 people together, have one person focus on tourniqueting all those limbs, have the other 1 or 2 people focus on bandaging the head and then the chest. Scrolling over, where is that number? Cardiac arrest time is 5 minutes. So if they haven't had a heart rate for 5 minutes, they will die. But I mean, that's a lot of time because you're all going to be close together anyway. So have those two people focus on bandaging the head, bandaging the chest. Third guy, once he finishes those tourniquets, to have him start doing CPR. Then those two guys that just bandage all the wounds on the head and the chest, have them focus on a single limb, get that bandage, the one that has the least amount of wounds. Remove the tourniquet, have the medic then put in however much blood they need to get them at least to some blood, epi them, wake them up, and then you just need to pack them. You don't even need to bandage the other three limbs. You just need to pack them, and that'll automatically heal all the other wounds. Now, in terms of another thing which might be a little interesting about the op, last thing I'll add, all of these medical boxes, you can drag them around and whatnot, but they only have about 150 bandages per. So combining that with everything else, that is, what's 150 times 6? That would be 850 bandages. That might go by a lot quicker than you guys think. So make sure when we're looting bodies, if you need ammo, also check them for their FAKs and take a few bandages off of them. I'm gonna just do one little check here. I think some of them I at least put like 2 bandages on them, but just yeah. So you're gonna want those. You're definitely going to want to grab those because you might find yourself running out. So again, looting the enemy is going to be key in some of these aspects. Just note that I'm not providing you any dump crates for any of this stuff, so you might find that squads are making like a pile of stuff to dump. Maybe behind like a static sandbag or whatnot, so they can start rationing their supplies appropriately. Or you can put the dumps in here; it doesn't matter. Um, but yeah, that is pretty much the operation. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy our return to MCO.